My name is Chris Dempsey. Started No Boston Olympics along with Liam Kerr about a year ago. And it was really a response to the narrative that was out there in the press about how an Olympics in Boston would only be a good thing. There would only be positives and there wouldn't be any costs. And we had seen the boosters really pushing that argument for about 6 months. And we felt like it needed a response and needed a counter-argument.
My name's Dan Walsh, and I have been brought into the Boston 2024 committee just as an athlete's perspective. The committee approached me by saying, how do we make this Olympics better for the athletes as well? A lot of people forget that the Olympics are about those athletes trying to compete on the best stage, and sometimes the athletes, from my experience, are kind of forgot about for the pomp and circumstance or the grandeur of the Olympics. And I was really intrigued to see how they wanted to see become more about the sport and less about the pageantry.
So we really see three reasons why the Olympics doesn't make sense. The first is that Olympics don't create economic benefit. So if you study the history of cities around the world that have hosted the Games, you don't see a difference in their long-term economic trends, whether or not they've hosted the Olympics. The second is that Olympics are very expensive. So we estimate that the cost of the Games will be between $10 and $20 billion. To put that into context, the annual budget of the city of Boston is about $2.7 billion. So you're talking about 5 or 6 times the annual budget of the city of Boston being spent on a 3-week event. The third reason is that there are huge opportunity costs. So there's a real cost to the fact that our civic agenda will be hijacked, and we'll talk a lot about hosting the Games. And by that, what that means is that we won't be talking about improving schools, we won't be talking about improving healthcare, we won't be talking about the sort of basic day-to-day things that we need to be getting right in Massachusetts to make it a great place to live.
My name's Peter Roby. I'm the Director of Athletics and Recreation here at Northestern University in Boston. We certainly generally are supportive of the Games coming to Boston, as long as it can be done in a way that's fiscally responsible, that's not going to put the burden on the taxpayer, that's not going to displace residents of Boston from where they live or work. But if it can be done in a way that upgrades what currently needs to be done in Boston in terms of infrastructure, roads and highways and bridges and that sort of thing, and also allows the universities and the city and the Olympic Committee to partner to put facilities in place that are needed anyway, then I think it could be a wonderful partnership that could be great for the city of Boston and for sports generally.
There's a good part of the Boston environment that wants to see the Olympics come here to help better the city, not take away from it. And I think that's a really strong reason to have it in this city. Also, being a very international city, I think it's going to feel more like a homecoming to the athletes that are coming in versus going to feel like they're going just to a foreign land. They'll be able to experience both, coming to America and seeing what it's like to be in the United States, but also really getting a sense of, well, there's all this international community here, so there is something I can relate to.
If you think about the things that have made Massachusetts a great place to live, whether it's our great education system, whether it's a public transit system that, while it needs to be improved, is still better than in many cities around the world. You think about our parks, you think about our history, you think about our natural resources and our beaches and mountains. None of those things are going to be improved by hosting Olympics. Instead, an Olympics is going to be an immense and costly distraction from those priorities, and will leave us with a future that's worse off, not one that's better off.